Welcome to Mishna study, Masechet Terumot, Perek Daled Mishnah Bet. Over here in this Mishnah, we're going to speak about someone who separated partial Maaser. So last Mishnah, we spoke about someone who separated partial Terumah, and we said it didn't work. You're not allowed to go ahead and just eat accordingly. You have to actually separate Terumah from that partial Terumah. Over here, we're going to speak about someone who separated partial Maaser. So Mishayu Perotah Megura, someone who had his fruits in a Megura, right? So it's like a drawer, storage house, right? Something where all his fruits are stored. He gave one se'ah to the Levi. Right, that's Maaser Rishon, and a se'ah to an ani, se'ah la'ani, that's Maaser ani, right? So the third and sixth year you give to the ani. Mafrish ad shemon natsein ve'ochlan. He's allowed now to separate another 8 se'ah, so in proportion, right? If he gave, in proportion to make that one se'ah that he gave, make that 10% to the Levi, another 10% to the ani. Now you could separate another 8 se'ah, which is going to be the balanced 80%, and you could eat it, right? Go ahead and actually eat it. Rabbi Meir says you could do so and assume that the what you gave to the Levi and what you gave to the poor, to the ani, is still there, and therefore you're allowed to go ahead and eat accordingly. Chamim say, you're only allowed to separate based on hashbon, based on the hashbon, based on the proportion that you know still exists, right? So you gave to the Levi, you gave to the ani. So if you know that he still has, the one se'ah and the one se'ah, then yes, you could separate 8. But you can't just assume so. You have to know so. Let's say you know that he, half of it's missing. He ate it, he lost it, whatever it may be, and only has his half a se'ah and half a se'ah. So now you're not allowed to go ahead and separate 8 and eat it. You're only allowed to separate half of that and eat it. You're allowed to separate 4 se'ah and eat it. And everything really follows that exact measurement. So if you only had a quarter of a se'ah left, then you'll only be allowed to separate 2 se'ah, right? Everything goes according to that hashbon, according to that proportion. I would just point out, Rambam mentions over here, interestingly enough, he says, when we said you give 1 se'ah to the Ben Levi and 1 se'ah to the ani, he goes, it's not exact, it's not precise. Rambam is very careful when it comes to the math, always in the Mishnah. And he says, if you give 1 se'ah to the Levi, so if you're left with 9, all you need to, if you're giving 10% of 9 now to the ani, it's not going to be 1 se'ah, it's going to be 0.9 se'ah, right? So everything's going to follow suit, right? So you gave 1 to the Levi, 0.9 to the ani, and what's left for you now? What you're allowed to eat? You're not just able to eat 8. You're allowed to actually eat 8.1, right? And Rambam points that out. He goes, but we rounded just for an easier way of writing and flowing, right? But obviously, Hachamim know exact measurements, and we're just rounding over here for a level of ease.